What's up, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with the overall markets. I'm also going to break down some very important things that Cash Kari from the Fed said that may be contributing to why the market is selling off a bit. I'm also going to talk about some key levels and some news involving Tesla in Canada. Just know I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000 and you're guaranteed 30. And the offer ends on March 31st in about 5 days from now. Anyways, so for Tesla, I just want to say the whole market did come down a bit, but we did expect this for Tesla. For SPY, I said that we need to break a key resistance to continue to push. Otherwise, we're going to see some consolidation. So that's what my view was. That was close. We actually dipped a little bit more than expected on SPY and the QQQ, and Tesla did dip as I predicted. But the question now remains, what's going to happen from this point on? So I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Let's first talk about what Cash Kari is saying. So the Fed speaker Cash Kari is giving a speech right now. He said, and this is what contributed to why the market sold off. Firstly, he said we made a lot of progress at bringing down inflation, but there is still a lot of work to be done. Then Kashkari said there's policy uncertainty right now that's complicating the Fed's job, and the jobs market has remained strong, but the biggest challenge is to finish the job. Then he talked about how after the 2018 tariffs, he said we saw less reshoring of manufacturing to the US than other countries. But despite all of this, he also mentioned that we could be expecting more rate cuts for 1 to 2 years out. So part of his words did mention that the Fed has a lot of uncertainty. There's still work to be done to bring down inflation. I think that's not the best for the markets. But part of what he also says that there could be more rate cuts coming in the 1 to 2 years out, which is better. The market has dipped a bit upon his words, and also because of other factors. For Tesla specifically, we got some bad news that came out. So, if anything, Tesla saw about 46,000 sales in Canada last year, but now there's reports saying there's a good chance that these sales could start to go down because of how things are looking right here. The reason I say this is because there's reports coming out that Canada has frozen all rebate payments for Tesla, and they opened a new tab and banned the EV maker from future EV rebates, according to the Transport Minister of Canada. So keep that in mind. Not the best of news, at least thus far. That's what Reuters has been talking about. On top of this, there's been some uncertainty about the tariffs. So that's the first thing that came out, some negative news involving Canada and Tesla. That's why the sales are starting to possibly be affected by this. And then on top of this, when it comes to President Trump, he said some positive things about his tariffs. He mentioned that he's willing to be more lenient than previously expected, but simultaneously, we are seeing that there are threats of more tariffs. So there's like two things going on. Trump said he wants to increase tariffs on automotives and pharmaceuticals very recently, but at the same time, he wants to be more lenient. So, just as a reminder, we have some updates right here about how the EU has delayed tariffs on a lot of their American products. We're seeing the Mexican Canadian tariffs basically delayed up until I would say April 2nd if they do comply with the USMCA's regulations. For the products that don't comply, they're going to be once again subjected to higher tariffs. Um, President Trump also announced another blanket of tariffs on China. Venezuela could be looking at secondary tariffs starting on April 2nd, according to Trump. So that's what we're looking for so far. That's what President Trump has been talking about. Um, so the news about how he was willing to be more lenient in the beginning did cause a small pump in the market initially, but now the market sold off a bit with Kashkari's speech, but it's still trying to hold support. The last thing is there's not really much else coming out for the rest of the day. We still have Kashkari's words that could affect us. So what's happening so far? Well, the thing is, Tesla already pumped so much, so we were due for a bit of a dip. I did say we're going to likely dip when we opened to 580, if not 574, very close to where we ended up going to. Now the question is, can we hold these lows from yesterday? Can Tesla hold this uh this 274 area? Sorry, did I say 574? I meant to say 274. Excuse me, guys. So if we lose 274 on Tesla, there's going to be a risk of bigger downside back down to 270 and eventually into like the 265 area. If we manage to get back above 280, we could be looking for some kind of bounce. For now, we're making lower highs, as you guys can see, and there's going to be a risk of us continuing to fall back down towards the lower 270s. So I do want to say that Tesla's a little bit weak right now with this bad news involving Canada and the fact that the whole market came down a bit. But we'll see if we can end up holding support around 274, if not 270. So watch those levels just to be safe. Okay, so it depends. Can we hold around that area or not? We're kind of shuffling right now. I am seeing a little bit of weakness, so be very, very careful for the time being. And then keep in mind this is just a temporary move, so we might see a retest of 274, and we'll see if it holds. For SPY, it's looking a little bit weaker because we lost structure right here. Right, we were trying to hold around 574. In my morning video, I said if we lost 574, look for 572.5. And if we lost that, we're looking for 570. If we had broken 576.5, I was expecting us to bounce and rally really hard if we had broken 576. Instead, what happened was we grabbed liquidity, then we rejected pretty hard after Kashkari started speaking. So for now, we're looking a little bit more bearish. I'm going to be looking for 572.5 to be retested. If that does not hold, we're looking for further declines to 570. So we'll have to see if we hold that support or not. For now, keep in mind there's a lot of chop right now between 572.5 and essentially 574. We're kind of going back and forth for the time being, but if we lose that support at 572.5, do expect more downside for SPY as we're looking kind of weaker. The QQQ is looking decent. I wanted to see if we could hold 492. If not, we're looking for 490. Both of those supports failed us, so it's not a good sign. We're watching this 487 area. If that fails us, we dump to 485. If we reclaim 490, we could try to bounce. So watch that 487 to 490 range. If we don't hold 487, we're looking for a dump to 485. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're making lower highs right now. We'll see if we reclaim 207 or not. We were showing lots of resilience in the morning, but instead of holding support, we're showing a little bit of weakness. So I'm going to be looking for a test of like 206. We could be dipping a bit more, but overall, it's still resilient. It's still trying to hold support. ES is barely holding 5,800. If that fails us, we could be looking for a bigger dip to 5780. If this holds, we could try to bounce for 5825. So we'll see how it goes. So watch 5800 and see what the move is. We'll be watching that very, very closely. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for a bigger decline to 5780. For NQ, we got a big rejection here. We're looking for a move back down to about 20,235. If that fails us, we could be looking for a bigger decline since 20,400 failed us. Look for 20,235 to be tested, in my opinion. And if it doesn't hold, we look for a bigger dip to 20,100. If it holds, we could try to bounce. So it depends. Can we hold 20,235 or not? That's the main support. Bitcoin's looking kind of weak. I wanted to see it reclaim 88,000. We're failing. So we're looking for support at 86,500. If it doesn't hold, we have a double top leg structure that could bring us down to about 85,000. So be careful. There's weakness on Bitcoin as it's testing its 200 EMA. Nvidia, I wanted to see this hold 115 to 117. Unfortunately, we're not holding that, so it's a bad sign for Nvidia. We have like a double top leg structure, so watch and see if 114 holds. If not, we're going to be at risk of dipping towards like the 111 areas. So there's been some talk about how some of their products could be delayed a bit. I saw some news about that. So it's not the best of news. That's why Nvidia is dipping. And that's contributing to why the market is selling off, right? So not the best of news for Nvidia. This may retest the low 114s. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for a bigger decline towards 110. So please be very careful. Once again, we're watching to see if Tesla could hold support right here at our key level. So we'll see if we could hold 274. As of right now, we're trying to. So as long as we hold that, we could be okay. If we lose that on Tesla, it's going to be a bad sign. So just be careful, guys. Like I said before, we're looking for essentially 270s and 265 if those fail. We have 222 as our main support at the 50 EMA, and we have resistance at 225. If 222 fails us, we could be dipping towards 220, so be careful. It's still holding support, looking very resilient, so we're watching 222.75. For Coinbase, a little bit weak here. I wanted to see us hold 202 to remain bullish. If that failed us, I said to watch for 195. If that does not hold, we have a gap to fill all the way down to 189 now. So watch and see if 195 holds. If not, there's going to be a further decline. Amazon was trying to bounce. We are looking for 208 as our target came a little bit short. Because we lost 204, we're looking for support now at 202. If that fails us, we're looking for 200, then 197.5 as supports. So watch 204 as resistance and then 202 as our support. If that fails us, we have 200. For Meta, we're technically rejecting. I said that if we can't hold above 635, we're looking for a test of 615 again. We're just right there, so watch the main support at 610. If 610 fails, we could be declining back down towards 595 to fill that gap. If we get back above 622, we could try to bounce, so we'll just have to see how it goes if 610 holds. Microsoft is in the middle. We're looking for 394 as resistance. If we lose 392, we could be dipping to 390, so be very, very careful. So be careful. We're just trading sideways right now. It's not really losing support or breaking resistance. Google's making lower highs. I want to see it reclaim 171 to be bullish. If we lose 168, we could turn back down, especially as we have a gap to fill at 166. We're kind of in the middle, so give it some time. For the VIX, we're trying to break past 17.64. If that breaks, we could continue to push on this towards the 18s. So that's looking a little bit more bearish. So please be careful. It's looking a little bit more bullish, excuse me. So be careful because that's a bearish sign for the markets. And GameStop is looking very bullish, looking for 30 to break. It's doing a great job as well. So what's my view of the markets? We're looking a little bit weaker, but we're trying to hold support. We have support at 572.5 on SPY, not to mention support near this, Tesla support at 274 to watch for. We're technically in a range on Tesla. Look how we're kind of going back and forth between these levels. So watch and see if that range just ends up holding. So we'll be very patient on this. We'll see if support ends up holding. We were expecting a slight decline on Tesla, so that's not really a surprise to see this, but we'll watch and see how well we hold support. So keep that in mind. If we lose 274, it's going to turn more bearish. As long as we're above that, we're going to likely be range bound between 274 and 280. Keep that in mind. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, and peace out.